Hello my beautiful butterflies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Beverley and it is so lovely to see you today. In this video we're going to be talking about how to incorporate thrifted items into your witchcraft practice. So grab that cup of tea, let's get to it. From tarot decks, oracle decks, to simmer pots and art equipment, I have thrifted everything. Most of my decorations in my witchcraft room here, most of the things that I use in my daily craft are thrifted. And it's really easy to do so, as long as you use your imagination and think of ways to incorporate things in an unusual or different way. So sometimes you have to think outside the box, but there are so many different ways to bring thrifted items into your practice, and I think it's a really lovely way to respect the planet and to save a bit of money, because let's face it, actual witchcraft that you buy from spiritual shops or online can be really expensive. So let's save some money and let's talk about how to incorporate thrifted items into your witchcraft practice. So the first thing that we need to talk about is how you incorporate these things into your practice, but you have to do so in a safe way. And the main problem that people run into is that they forget to cleanse. Cleansing is so important. It is the biggest step that you can take with your thrifted items, because you don't know who had this item before, what it was used for, why it was thrown out, or why it was given to charity. You don't know the reasoning behind it. And because of this, it is so important to make sure that you are cleaning and cleansing properly. Personally, I tend to cleanse in threes, so I tend to use normal ordinary cleaner. Sometimes you can use cleaning products that you've made yourself, but making sure things are clean is really important, especially as we have just lived through plague times, and so we have to be careful. As well as that, I tend to then smoke cleanse. I do this very simply with ye old-fashioned cleansing cone. I keep it in here, I keep all my ash in the dish so that I can use it at any time. This, by the way, was thrifted. It was probably someone's wedding present, but it works perfectly just to put my incense cone in. So that's a really good way of using something that has been thrifted. But also an incense cone or one of those sticks works really well. You can also use dried flowers if you would like and burn that sort of thing. It depends on what your personal practice is. I also will then use a bell. Now, bells are always in the charity shop, so if you come across a bell in a charity shop, definitely grab it. They are brilliant for sound cleansing. I use one that I bought my granddad and came back to me when he passed away, and I use that so that I then call on my ancestors through the bell to cleanse. It's a really great way to bring a thrifted item and use it in my practice, but also it's just a really wonderful way to work with my ancestors. So making sure that you've cleansed properly is really important, whether that's a piece of furniture or candlestick or whatever it is. Make sure you cleanse it correctly so that you're in charge of the energy that stays in your home. Also make sure that you have a window open when you are cleansing so that whatever energy can leave and doesn't get stuck in your home. So let's talk about candles and candlesticks. These beautiful candlesticks were thrifted. I think they were £1. I really like them because they have this like swinging, I don't know what it is, but they just really called to me. I love these so much. It's really nice. They sit on my altar every day and I have protection tea lights in them so that if I am doing a spell at my altar, I can call on protection. These are perfect. You can pick up candlesticks like this very cheaply because they're just trying to get rid of them. People don't generally use candles anymore unless they're witches, I guess. But yeah, you can get them quite cheaply and easily in the charity shop. I also love to thrift candlesticks that are like this. The old-fashioned, you know, they're good for photo shoots as well. But what I also love about these is you can use them as vessels for magic. So if I'm doing a general spell that I don't need gold colours for, so this I would choose to use for prosperity spells, for example. This would be a more general one. I can dress my candle, place it in the top, and then I can put the correspondences and things like that, like the herbs and crystals and things around the base. It's a really great and simple way of utilising these. Definitely recommend these if you find them. You will find more like this kind of brassy kind of thing. These are great for prosperity magic and anything like that, like if you're doing something for your job or work. Also, if you are giving money for, say for example, for your ancestors, I tend to roll up the bills and place them through the hands so they don't blow away. That's a really great way of doing that. It works really, really well. I think a lot of people use bowls, but I find these to work so much better because you've got a space for the candle to stand up. You don't have to worry about fire safety with them maybe falling over. It's a lot safer. Plates and that sort of thing are also great for thrifting. If you're looking for doing something like tea magic, you can often find teacups with the saucer, so they're great for if you want to do tea leaf reading and stuff. Just make sure there's no patterns on the inside of the cup because it's better to learn without anything on there that can get in the way. I've also very often found actual candles in the charity shop, and as long as you cleanse them and make sure they're clean and they don't have loads of energy on them, they're perfectly fine to use in spells. Next, we're going to talk about cauldrons. Now, this isn't your traditional cauldron, I know. These sorts of things were generally made for putting flowers in. You would put like potpourri, that sort of thing inside. This is like rusty and dusty, and I haven't used it yet. I haven't cleaned it yet. But if I need a vessel for burning things in, I'd much rather use something tarnished and banged up like this than, you know, I do have a cauldron that I got from, here it is, let me show you. I do have like a really nice cauldron that I got in as part of a giveaway from like a shop once, and it's so beautiful, but I don't want to be burning stuff in that. So finding things like this is great because then you're burning things in something that's already tarnished, it's already messed up. It doesn't matter if this gets ruined, it does matter if this gets ruined because this looks pretty, you know? Cauldrons are great for burning things in. Say you write a letter to an ancestor or a birthday card to an ancestor. Say you're making a list of things that you want to release from your life or let go of. Burning inside a cauldron is great. I also use things like this. If you sometimes will get them with like a crystal bowl underneath, and they are great for doing like potpourri of your own, which is like a spell of energy that you want to bring into a space or into a room. I'm definitely going to do one of those. I have one of those waiting for me to be able to turn into a spell when we decorate our living room downstairs, which we're doing hopefully next month, and that will be a video. So make sure you subscribe, my lovelies. So that will be coming up because we really want to make the space feel good, and a potpourri and that sort of thing is really great for that. Essential oils brings the smell. It's a lovely way of bringing magic into your space, and you're using something that would have been just thrown away. I also thrifted a while back a simmer pot, but it's not actually a simmer pot, it's a fondue set from the 1970s. It's amazing, it came in the box and everything. But with that you just have a tea light underneath, you put warm water and all of your correspondences inside, light it on up and it will simmer and cleanse your home. Again, make sure your windows are open. But that's a lovely way to bring energy and stuff into your home and a way to use thrifted items. Another great item is books. You might be surprised how much witchcraft you can find in your charity shops. I've found spell books before, but also I find things that aren't necessarily witchcraft, but they are witchcraft. Let me explain. I do a lot of ancestor work here on the channel, and here is a book all about how to trace your family tree in England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales. It's a lovely book full of information, and this was £2 from the charity shop. I also found this, Angels Believe and Receive. I work a lot with angels, as one of my gods that I work with is Archangel Michael. So this is a really good book. I think this was like £1 or something from the charity shop. And then if you are a green witch, you can find books like this, guides on how to grow herbs, and this is all about how to grow and look after herbs that you want to grow. You can find a lot of information in books like this. Gardening books are great, and you often find them in the charity shops. Really good book to grab. I've also found books about foraging. I found books about meditation, that sort of thing, skills that you need because they're witchcraft adjacent. Like meditation is really important in witchcraft. Being able to visualize and that sort of thing, really important in witchcraft. You can find a lot of information by just trawling through the books. And again, being open-minded, looking at different ways to bring your knowledge up on different subjects so that you can then be a more effective witch. Just because it's not a witchcraft book doesn't mean you cannot use it for witchcraft. There are so many ways to bring thrifted items into your witchcraft practice. These sleeves are getting on my nerves. To be effective witches, we have to use our imagination. We have to be able to visualize what we want to do. And if you're at a point where you are creating your own spells, you're creating your space, your world, your home to look and feel like a witchcraft's home, like mine, most of the things that I own are thrifted or I've bought them secondhand. So don't forget to trawl online as well. eBay, Amazon also, people do sell secondhand items like secondhand books. There are also websites that are specifically just for secondhand books, and I love trawling through them. I can be there all day. I also love Facebook Marketplace. You'd be surprised how many people are getting rid of bureaus that are perfect to use as an working altar or a space to write. You can find so many pieces of furniture, so many items that you can then use as part of your magical space and your magical craft. So use your imagination, make sure you cleanse, and just have fun looking. It's like an endless thing. I could make this into a series, and I can do that if you would like. But I have a lot of thrifted content here on the channel, so if you enjoyed this and you enjoy me, Beverley, then make sure you head down below. I will have a link to my whole thrifting playlist. Grab another cup of tea, kick your feet up, and why not enjoy? I also will have a couple of videos on my end screen, so don't forget to check those out as well. I would love to spend more time with you. I want to send a huge thank you to my Patreons. Thank you to Ravin, Kirsty Nelms, who did all my branding here at the channel, Margaret Finlay, thank you to you, thank you to Sarah O'Donoghue, who keeps us all safe over in the Discord server, and thank you to Lindsay Winstanley. Thank you everyone, and if you'd like to help me out here at the channel, all you have to do is follow the links down below. If you made it this far in the video, well done you, pat yourself on the back. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, leave this video a cheeky like and a comment, as it helps me to know and the YouTuberverse to know that you enjoyed it, and it'll get sprinkled out just that little bit more. Don't forget as well, if you are new here, click that button that says subscribe, ring that little bell so you always know when I upload. I'm usually here on Fridays, sometimes on a Monday. It just depends what's going on in my life. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful magical week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!